Alright, Ron. Good to go.
Technically, as of 10 seconds ago, we've already started. There we go. There you go. My bad. There you go. How are you guys?
I'm wrapping up finals, so I'm feeling good. I just had probably one of the best shows of the year on Friday, last Friday.
Talk about it, man. Talk about it.
So I'm feeling really good about that. It was crazy because it was 4 acts and it was a house show, and like each act had multiple people in it.
Right on.
So I was honestly like, and my homie's band Herbie, his band Headsick, performed right before me, and they're like a hardcore like punk band.
Yeah.
So they were going crazy. But then, so I was kind of concerned because I was like, people are not gonna have enough energy for my set. But I feel like Herbie's band doing that like set the tone.
He got down. Yeah.
So like during my set, it was crazy. There was people hanging on like the garage ceiling. They were like hanging off the ceiling. Like my homie was like jumping off the stage into the crowd.
Yeah.
It was crazy, dude. It was crazy.
That's dope, guys.
It was a good time though.
Man, how many hours did you guys perform?
In total, it was a 2-hour show.
8 to 10.
Yeah.
8 to 10.
Yeah.
But it all went down pretty smooth.
Man, how's finals for you, bro? How's the last couple of days?
It's all right, man. I was actually like up to like 4 a.m. this morning.
Oh, man.
Starting and finishing an essay.
No,
it
you're
was
kidding.
like 2,500 words.
You're kidding.
But it was easy, to be
okay,
honest.
then
I'm actually like really proud of it. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, I mean, like I opened up for that show. I was the first performer for that house party show, and I think it was like my best performance yet. I think I had like the best interaction with the crowd and stuff. I think that was like my second time actually like performing a full set. My first was Otterlands and stuff, so it was crazy.
I was in the back. Yeah, I didn't see me in the Otterlands.
You were there?
No,
at Otterlands.
For you guys were by the quad.
Oh,
I was in the
yeah.
back. I was
Oh,
leaving
for
my head.
real?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
I had to go
for
to
sure.
a meeting right after, so I couldn't finish the whole thing though.
Oh, okay.
Fellas, dude, there's a major reason why I have you guys here, man. It's the hustle. That's why I bring people here, man. I love the hustle. I want to talk about it. I gotta know, man, your guys' origin story. I know we talked about it briefly back in the day, me and you and Akif. Had you on the podcast 2 years ago, man. That's crazy.
I know that is, huh?
2 years ago. But I want to know more in depth. What's your origin story? How did you guys get into what you guys are into, man?
Man, for me, I think I was in like 8th grade, and I was like finally getting into hip hop. And the thing is, like my middle older brother moved out at the time, so like I just needed stuff to do. So I started listening to music, and like then I would find myself like writing in school and stuff. That shit was ass, but it was really fun. I entered high school. One day I went to Best Buy. I got like a $50 mic, and it's been history since then. And I've just been trying to make music whenever I can. Surely like the motivation goes away every now and then, but it's never completely gone, you know? I always come back to it. And lately I've just been on a roll, I feel like. So
It's good, man.
Yeah.
A roll.
Yeah.
It's part of the hustle, bro. It's
No,
part
it
of
is.
it. I love it, man. I think we talked about it briefly a while back. There's this thing that without music, bro, I don't know where we would be as humans, man.
Facts.
There's so many facts that I looked up about this, and there's this crazy thing that I found out that music for people who have severe brain injury can possibly bring back their memories through music.
Yeah.
And I was like, dang, dude,
Yeah.
that's how much of an impact. And usually I don't have artists like you guys onto the pod, but because of what you guys do, how you guys bring people up, the hype, you know, it's dope to see, right?
Thank you, bro.
How did you start your origin, man?
So the way I started thinking that I could rap is that I used to memorize songs. So I used to memorize the 2 songs that I like firmly memorized is like "The Motto" by Drake. I literally memorized that song when I was in I think I was like 8th grade, and I was just rapping "The Motto" by Drake. I was just memorizing it. And then the second song was like this song called "Victory Lap" by Macklemore.
All right.
And then so my origins, when I first started making music, I kind of did it as a joke. Like I would make like funny music, like I would like make like joke music.
You know Miles?
Yeah, like literally, like I made a song called like broke but I'm flexing.
Oh, okay.
So so it's like stuff like that.
Is it unreleased or?
No, it's on SoundCloud. It's in the art. It's you got to scroll down, but I leave it to show people the progression.
Yeah.
Yeah. And eventually I made a whole bunch of SoundCloud songs, and then I dropped an album in high school.
Right.
And after that, I was like, I'm done making music. I was like, I'm probably like, this is not really something that I'm.
Oh shoot.
It's just a side thing, like just really a hobby. Like, I need to focus on whatever my life is gonna do. And then my roommate now, my current roommate Max, I didn't bring my mic at the time, so Max had his mic and he had a Mac. So I was like, and then I told him that I rap, and I was like, you know what, I could probably make something since you have a mic. And then I ended up making another SoundCloud album the next year. And after that, I started taking music more seriously because I saw like the vibes that it brought, if that makes sense.
Yeah. The audience, how they reacted.
Yeah. And it just motivated me to like try harder. And eventually in 2022 and around Valentine's Day, I dropped my first debut EP on Spotify. And ever since then I've been taking it.
And what
seriously.
year was that, man? What year was that?
2022.
22. Oh,
Yeah,
recent,
so
man.
I would
Holy
only
crap.
say I've been doing music seriously for like a year and a half.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
To me, you guys seem like you guys know it, like you guys know how to come up, how to progress, how to get people to hear your music. You know?
I feel like definitely though the SoundCloud days
Yeah.
builds your foundation on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it humbles you.
Okay.
And it forces you to work hard. Because a lot of the people see our work now and then automatically assume that they should just get to that, they can just get to that point, even though like we're not big, but there was still like a process that we had to go through to get to this point. And like being on SoundCloud and really like going through trials and errors. And like having to struggle finding a mic and stuff, and like and knowing how to mix, like it builds knowledge.
That's beautiful though, bro. That's kind of beautiful.
Yeah.
Like you saying you guys were struggling just to find a mic,
Yeah.
and now you guys have a mic to perform with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's incredible, bro.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? One of the things I was able to go, man. I know we mentioned this a couple of days ago, but you guys performed at the ceremony for the Asian Pacific, I believe, Islanders.
Yes.
Is there like abbreviation?
It's just a API.
There you go.
Yeah.
And I was watching the live. I was like, I was telling you guys, I was editing a documentary, right? I was like, man, I have to watch it. And I'm over here just like, it was just dope, you know. It's good to
Yeah.
see you guys perform, man.
Thank you.
Especially you guys feel as comfortable as you guys can. You guys talk to the crowd like if they're your people. Getting out of your comfort zone. What's that like, man? Because a lot of people, man, can't get out of their comfort zone because they're a little afraid, right? And I get it, but how do you guys do it?
Man, I mean, like, I think the ceremony is like kind of a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
Just because that's kind of like a crowd that we're not technically built for.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
we're college rappers, you know? So there were definitely a lot of adults and yet little kids and stuff like that. But I think, like, we just kind of had to... The one thing we had to just keep in mind was to like censor some of the profanity and
Right,
stuff.
right.
But that's not really that hard because we don't let that make us when we're making our music. So when we were doing that, like we just cared about just putting on a good show, having a good time with everyone. You know, it would have been crazy if we had a mosh pit starting out of nowhere or something. But it was just good vibes like overall. And then like right before Friday night, we had that house party where we were kind of in our comfort zone. So it was dope.
Yeah.
And like it kind of just it gave me confidence, and I don't know about Pak Joko, but it just gave me confidence that I could be in all arenas, you know, not just one type of demographic or anything. Like, who else do you know that's doing a house party and then gets hired by the school to be in the ballroom, you know? Like, I feel like we're cut from a different cloth because of that.
You guys got to put that on your resume, man.
Yeah.
Seriously, dog. Seriously, that's dope. That's hella dope. What about you? How did you get a, like, what's it like getting out of your comfort zone, man?
So, I think the way I really got out of my comfort zone is it's like you end up breaking barriers that allow your mind to open up to new things, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the same thing with like sports, or like, you know,
Right.
like you break records, your own records, and then you keep progressing off of that. So I feel like that applies to me. I think the biggest thing for me that broke my comfort zone was, this was last spring break. I had the opportunity to perform for like a G League Clippers game.
That's right. I saw that your post. Yeah.
And it was like in a stadium and everything in Ontario, the Toyota Center in Ontario. And honestly, my friend told me, he was like, "Bro, you should try this." And I was like, "Nah." I was like, "Nah, bro. That's like doing too much, honestly." Like, plus two, I was still in school. Like, I went home like 5 days early for spring break just to do this, and I was like, I'm gonna be in school and everything. And then, but my friend just like kept like he was like on my ass about it. And then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just like email him. And then after that, like, we discussed, and then honestly, I'm so thankful that I did that, because it broke my comfort, because it made me want to strive for more for myself in the future.
Yeah.
Like, when it comes to like shows, like, it proves that I have, when I was like a smaller artist back then, it proves that I just have like, it's really just connections, and I have the potential, you know. And at the same time, when you break your comfort zone, you never know who you'll meet. And I feel like at the Clippers game, I met like really good connects. Like, I met like these other Indonesian rappers, and then they've recently helped me with like mixing and studio time. Like, they own like a whole studio and everything. So back home, Akif's been there.
Yeah.
That's dope, dude. It's not all about, you know, the music itself. It's about networking, connecting with other people, man. There's more to it than just putting your music out there, even if it's other art, like what we do is film, right? The podcast, dude. Various artists, dude. And it's beautiful to see that you guys have the capabilities to network, right? And it's tough, bro. One of the things that I love seeing is you guys going out there. I see you guys posting your stuff, you know. Recently, giving yourself a little promotion here, Akif. San Fernando's Finest, guys. It just came out a couple weeks ago, right? Weeks ago.
Yeah. It's been a while.
And it's so cool to see, because I remember you telling me when freshman year, dog. We were freshmen.
Yeah, a long time ago, man.
Dude, I believe it was one of the Headspace.
Headspace, yeah.
That was one of my favorites, bro. That was one of my
Oh,
favorites,
man.
dude.
I think that was 21. That might have been sophomore. That would have been like COVID time.
COVID time, that's
Yeah.
right.
Because I think that was the virtual interview.
And that's when we did the interview as
Yeah,
well during that
yeah.
time, dude. Oh, man. Dude, see, time flies.
That was all one big year, if anything. So
Time flies, bro, in my opinion. It's so cool to see you guys grow as individuals, as artists. There's more to it. I wish there could be a higher word than just artists. You know what I'm saying? One of the things I want to get into, man, and it's something that I want to get into deep, the stereotype. There's a stereotype for all artists.
yes.
And there's always people saying, man, people who get into the entertainment industry, music, film, anything, right? They're not going to make it. They're not going to make it. How do you guys fight that? How do you guys fight that stereotype?
So for me personally, I think people get the wrong idea sometimes when it comes to like the idea of a person wanting to just be self-sufficient off of their craft. Like, it would be real. I will aim to be number one in the world, but that's not what I need in order to be successful. I know plenty of like local musicians, you know, smaller musicians who are independent, doing their own thing. Maybe they have like 15,000 followers on Instagram, but they're doing music and they make their livelihood off of that. Not just that though, but I just feel like in general, like it's just popular to hate nowadays when you're doing like creative stuff, you know? Everyone just wants you to take the regular route, and there's nothing wrong with doing that. But growing up, like I just always learned that like it's better to take risks than to like always play it safe, because you never know what's gonna happen, you know? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. That's like a motto I've like grown up with all my life. I remember when I first came here to CSUMB, and like around that time was when I released my like previous album, Otherworld, which like I released like 4 years ago. But that was my first project that was on all streaming platforms. And when I came here, my friends who would really like backhand me with their like compliments or whatever would still call me like a SoundCloud rapper in like a very derogatory way,
Right.
which is like, it's funny or whatever, but like at the end of the day, like I'm putting my time into something that it's not like something that you can hold or something, but you can see the growth, you can hear the growth, you can feel the growth. So like I think at the end of the day, like it's just about you just gotta like learn how to ignore that type of stuff, you know? Cause I just tell myself they're probably not happy with themselves anyway, so you just gotta like keep that in your head, you know? Cause like honestly, like people are doing whatever they're doing, or maybe they're doing nothing at all. I know I'm trying to put myself somewhere later in life, so yeah.
I guess for me, when it comes to stuff like that, I feel like I honestly don't get too much. I get criticism online for sure, but that's
Really?
like, yeah, like on TikTok and stuff. But it's honestly like,
Oh man.
but it's honestly like, again, it's like so easy to hate,
Yeah, no,
and people usually are just so like, they don't. It's like ignorant. People don't really understand that they're being ignorant. They just think they're being funny, you know. But at the same time, it's like it doesn't affect me, because I mean, I feel like music is, you're making music that you think sounds good, and it's just like the result from that is natural. Like I feel like personally I've built fans like naturally just from making music that I like, you know. And on top of that, I feel like as long as you're staying true to yourself and being like humble, then that's how you win above all the hate. Like the hate is just like nothing if you can stay true to yourself. Yeah.
Cool, man. I think one of the major things, the reason why I asked that question, man, the stereotype. Do we get the support from our own friends and family? You know, that's a big one, especially family.
yeah.
My parents, man, I'm gonna graduate in a couple of days, man, and they're still skeptical of what I'm doing, dude. And it's kind of hard, you know, to show them. So when they come and see, you know, this Friday, all the films that I've worked on, hopefully that changes stuff. So that's crazy. You got to show them, you know.
Yeah.
How is that with your parents or with your family, you know?
Man, I mean, like,
It's very different from friends and the whole, you know, audience. You know?
yeah. I mean, especially with like family, like I think that's the hardest pill to swallow, because like the people who are close to you in real life may not support you in the things you do. It may not even be because they don't support you. My parents didn't support me, but they just might not like what you're doing.
Right.
My parents, you know, I started back in high school. They think I just waste my time. They think I don't do anything. And as a result of that, I just don't put my energy into showing it to them, only because it's like, if they refuse to at least try to understand it, I can't force them to like want to support me or anything like that. But at the same time, like, you know, that did also teach me like, you can't satisfy everyone, you know? And that's like something you have to like accept, especially when you're being a creative, because you can make something that is beautiful or amazing, and there could be someone who's just not into that type of thing. And like, that's just it at the end of the day. But that also pushed me to push out the best quality I can. So I've come across a lot of scenarios where I'll show SFF or something to someone, and maybe they'll be like, like, you know, I'm not really a fan of that, like that type of music or what you specifically did, but I could hear the quality. I could hear the time and effort you put into it. I could tell that you care about it. And so when people notice that, that's when I know I'm doing like the right thing. Just cause like that tells me I'm doing something good. When someone who doesn't even fuck with me like that still has something to appreciate from me. So, like, you know, my family, my brothers, even my oldest brother, when I first started like rapping and making beats, man, like he just told me like, bro, I don't think you should be rapping, to be honest. He told me that back in senior year of high school, and like that broke me for a while. But I just told myself, like, my homie CJ from back home, the rapper homie, he got me out of my rut, and I just learned, man, like the people who are there to support you, like they're gonna support you.
Oh, yeah.
Like you'll see it, you know. So I pay attention to what I have, not what I don't have.
I like that. I dig that, man.
For me, I think growing up as an Asian American, there's definitely like expectations.
Yeah.
Right? But I do have people in my family that support me. They support the fact that I can bring in a crowd now. But they don't support that I don't get enough money from it yet. And I feel like the biggest part is like money to them. Like they just, but you know, at the end of the day, it's rooted like they just want the best for me. They want me to be successful. And if they don't see that, then they'll say something. But at the same time, like it's not, I mean, they haven't like told me to like not do music.
Oh,
but
okay.
it's like you can tell that the support is not fully there. At least because I live with my grandma, and like she'll just kind of like be whatever about my music career. Even though like me personally, like I've been breaking boundaries and stuff for myself. And I feel like at the end of the day, my dad fully supports me. My dad is like, he really supports my music because himself, he's tried in the past to like make a music career, and he's tried to be like an entrepreneur and stuff like that. So he's like taken risk in the past in his own life. But it's just I feel like it's hard and it's scary as a young adult. But I feel like the key word there is like adult, and that me doing music, even though it might not be what my grandma wants, it's like what I want to do, you know. And it's like not even a bad thing if you put it in a way. It's like I'm taking a risk for myself to like be able to say that I tried, you know. So it's like if I'm doing this for myself, and I know you want me to just be successful, but at the same time, this is what I want to do. And although all these years you had a vision for me of what, and like it wasn't music, but at the same time, this is my life, you know. And I'd rather go against the grain right now rather than being like 40 and doing what people have told me my whole life, you know.
You don't want to live your life with regret, man. I love that you guys are taking risks, man. It's amazing. Yeah. It begs the question, man. What are you guys studying? what are you guys studying?
Funny story. I used to be a marine science major.
Oh, okay. Oh, for sure.
And then I met Akif.
Uh-huh.
And then he was like, "I'm just a communications major because it'll probably help my music." And I was like, "You know what?" And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna switch my major. And then literally the next semester, I switched to communications.
So I think you explained to me a couple of times,
Yeah.
but how does communication work with music? I'm kind of curious.
Yeah. Just a side note. It's even funnier because like semester before I met Cyan, or no, the semester that I met Cyan, like I switched my major to communications. So we were both like pretty new to it. But the way that I was looking at it was like, me personally, I'm not the most like social person in the world. I have my moments, but I'm definitely more comfortable with the people I know compared to people I don't know. But I saw the communications degree as like an opportunity to like learn the ins and outs of just kind of the way the world works, but from a communicative type of way. So like a lot of the classes I'm taking, like this year I was taking like race and intersectionality and like other things like that and stuff. And like people might think like, man, but you're just making music. Like, how does all of that relate to you? But like, it's communications really is just a way to market yourself and to like learn how to assert yourself and stuff like that. So for me personally, like, I also am just like, I think growing up, I've just always been into writing. And for me myself, I just kind of wanted to get away from the stereotype of American colleges where it's like you chase a degree to get a job. I chased this degree because I wanted to learn. And I feel like that drastically changed my approach to just how I perceive college education. It made me appreciate it a lot more. And especially with the stuff I learned, like, it's taught me how to just talk to people about my music. Like, at one point I would just be like, just saying like, hey, listen to my shit, like sending links to everyone, and then like they'll be unfollowing me like weeks after, and I'm like, man, why would they unfollow me, you know? But like, there's a certain way to do this type of thing, and like, I think it's just a great thing to learn about, because communication is always growing, it's always changing. People always say, what the hell can you do with that degree? I'm like, trust me, can you even communicate with the people that are close to you? Like, how many arguments do you get in with your people or whatever, you know? So like that's the way I look at it. So yeah, I mean, my parents doubted it too, because I was a communication design major. I liked it, but I can't lie that I definitely chose a little bit of it because it was a bachelor's of science, so I could like satisfy my parents in a way. But then I realized like the degree doesn't make me, I make it, especially in today's world. So I am going to be the product of my own work, not something that's going to be given to me.
I'm gonna put that on a shirt, man. I like that. Put that on a shirt, bro. How'd you guys meet? I was curious. You guys going into that. How'd you guys meet?
So I met Akif's girlfriends. Well, I was friends with Evelyn's friends.
Yeah,
For sure.
And then they were saying that Akif raps. And then I was like, okay,
Let's do this.
that's cool. That's cool. And then after that, I don't know, I just followed you, and then I DM'd you. No. And then I was like, yeah, I'm working on an EP right now. And then I was like, low-key, if you're trying to listen, I can just send the files. And you're like, nah, I'd rather listen to it in person.
Oh, nice. I like that.
And then I was like, all right.
Communication at its finest, bro.
And then the way we met, like, we just set up a time and date.
That's dope.
And then he just pulled up to my dorm. And then we, like, listened to the whole EP.
That's freaking dope.
Yeah, but it's crazy because my EP, like, my mixing was, like, a mess before I met Akif. And then I feel like, but I already kind of had an idea, like, I had, like, a half idea of what I was doing. But then I met Akif, and then like I would go back and edit everything, and then have him listen, and he would tell me what to add, but he wouldn't show me what to do. So
What do you mean?
Cause you like when you're mixing, you have to like add and adjust like the EQ and everything.
Right on.
So, but he wouldn't show me what to do, but he would tell me what to do. But that honestly like helped me learn a lot, like, cause like it took my mixing to like such a higher level, and like I feel like now my mixing is like pretty good.
Oh, badass.
Yeah.
Nice. That's dope, bro. Who knows what would have happened if you guys haven't met, man. It's incredible to see you guys grow, man. And one of the things I want to talk about too, it's going a little off topic here, but we're college students. I don't know if you guys are about to graduate. Tell me, are you guys about to graduate, or are you guys still have more semesters?
I'm going to be graduating next semester,
Nice,
and he's going to be graduating in spring of the next
Well,
school
congratulations, guys. Hopefully,
Thank you.
Hopefully, it works out. But as college students, man, you know, back in the day, before, it was actually during pandemic time, even before pandemic time. But stress and anxiety, we've talked about this a little bit back in the day, and stress and anxiety in a college student kind of sucks, man. Especially if you got other things going on in life, right? But not only as artists, but as college students, how'd you guys handle stress and anxiety? How'd you guys cope?
I smoked a lot. No. So I mean, like, you know, besides that, I'm not gonna lie. Like for me, I definitely still struggle with it today. But for me, like, music truly is my outlet. Especially because I talk about the things that, like, maybe a lot of people don't want to talk about in music. I talk about serious things sometimes. Sometimes I talk about fucking around. Whatever it is, I make sure that I, like, vent a little bit, you know? Especially being a college student, like, I work 2 jobs too, and I make music on the side and everything, and, like, it's definitely, it gets overwhelming trying to, like, juggle all of these things at once. But what I tell myself is that, you know, struggle builds character, you know? Obviously my parents would have wanted it to be, like, easy for me, you know. In an ideal world, all I'd be doing is just doing college and doing whatever fun stuff on the side, but unfortunately that's just not the way the world works, you know. But I tell myself, like, you know, I might as well struggle right now so I don't struggle years later, decades later. I don't want to have regrets. I don't want to have anything like that. So I welcome the stress, you know. There's good stress too. I mean, like, I remember the day of the show, there wasn't like negative stress or anything, but it was just a sense of stress to be like, oh man, like, I hope everything goes good. I hope, like, you know, me and Pak Joko and all the other acts, like, we all, like, are good. We perform our best. We hope there's enough people that turn out and stuff like that. But it's great to see that sometimes, like, I just overthink things, man, you know, and things just end up being a lot better than I think they are. So sometimes I just tell myself I need to loosen up, man. Stuff just gets in my head, but that's how it is for me personally, you know.
Interesting.
When it comes to stress, I firmly believe that everything happens for a reason, right? And I'm pretty good at accepting just, like, however things are. And I feel like a big part of my college mindset was last year when I was a marine science major. I was blessed enough to have, like, fun roommates, so we'd always be going out, like, as in, like, we would always be, like, going on drives and stuff, like adventures and stuff. But, like, I was failing my classes and stuff, but I was like, you know what, fuck it. I was like, fuck it.
Yeah.
And honestly, I feel like if you can value, I mean, it's, like, it's bad to say fuck it, but, like, at the same time, if you want to be happy, like, make that sacrifice to be happy, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's honestly not worth it to throw your happiness away for, like, trying to in school. I mean, like, in college you can fail a couple classes, just a couple.
It's inevitable.
but you know, but other than that, I feel like too, good advice to not be stressed in college is, again, choose a major that you want to do.
Yeah.
Like, I made a mistake. I thought that marine science was gonna be cool, but I was like, it's challenging now. If I can do it, then I'll, like, make my people proud. But then at the same time, I was like, this is just not for me. So I feel like I would have cut so much stress if I was communications major from the beginning.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But
Yeah,
but
dude.
other than that, yeah, you just gotta accept the way things happen, accept how things happen. And I feel like that's, like, the best way to deal with stress. And, like, honestly, just, like, have fun. You know, it's not, at the end of the day, just when it comes to, like, music and, like, life in general, it just, like, have fun. Just, like, and surround yourself with good people that have good mindsets about it too.
It's cool, man. You guys have that drive, and I love it. It's dope to see, and it's inspiring, guys. Another question that comes to mind, like, who and what inspires you guys to make you guys the person you guys are today?
Man, I mean, I'll first say, like, my parents first and foremost. Just in terms of their work ethic, I think, like, growing up, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't acknowledge the amount of work that my parents put in, the hours that my parents put in, just to give us a decent life and stuff like that. Like, I had a pretty decent come up, you know, and I feel like I should just appreciate that a lot more. Second is, like, my girlfriend. Like, she's a huge inspiration. Academically speaking, she's everything I would want to be, because she's just a great student, and she's a great learner and stuff like that. But outside of that, I think in terms of music, like, Kendrick Lamar was like one of my biggest like inspirations growing up. Just the fact that he was a California native. My funny story is like my brother put me onto him like a long time ago. It was around the time that his album Good Kid, Mad City came out, and I was like a young kid, so I didn't understand really anything. I thought it was like, oh yeah, it's cool and stuff. And then come 8th grade, when I really started getting into like rap and everything, I listened to a song called Money Trees by Kendrick Lamar. And then like as I was like really fucking with it, and then something clicked in me, and then I remembered, I was like, this is the same exact song that my brother showed me all those years ago, that I was like, oh, it's cool. So I think it's just crazy how stuff comes full circle like that. I have like other influences like Denzel Curry, J. Cole, the late Mac Miller, rest in peace. Mac Miller especially, just because I love his evolution as an artist. He went from like a frat rapper to like one of the biggest visionaries in hip hop before he passed away. And even now he still has such a like big legacy, a legacy that is carefully handled by his family, something that I wish I would see more in the community. I'll say this guy's an inspo too, man, just because I see him working, you know, like he works his ass off, and like whenever he shows me a new song, like I'm always hyped to listen to it. I'm always hyped to like just give some feedback and stuff like that. Like I think that's honestly the best thing. I have a lot of friends who inspire me because I'm sure maybe I inspired them in some way, but they're always willing to work with me and tell me and just, you know, stuff like that. I think just going back also to like the stress thing and just in music in general, don't have any yes men with you, man. Like have people who are honest with you, you know? Like there's been times where I've showed music to him and he's like, you know, maybe you need to like do this or do that, or like maybe I might tell him that or something like that. Like I think it just helps to have an honest opinion, you know? Honesty truly is like the best policy. So, a little first grade lingo there, but yeah, man, I mean, that's what I think.
If we're talking about influences, my first rap influence was Macklemore. Like as like crazy as that sounds.
That's crazy. Okay.
Macklemore was my first influence, and it's because I grew up in Portland, Oregon, and Macklemore was based out of like Seattle, so he was like that Pacific Northwest like sound. Yeah. And honestly, like I feel like he made very niche music to that like area, like Washington, like Oregon, you know, like that people could like relate to up there, because it wasn't, because like, yeah, it was crazy. And then it's just because like the way he rapped was so mindful and like very thoughtful. Like his, if you listen to like his other songs, then like besides his like big ones, like he's like very mindful in his like lyrics and everything, and it's very like deep. And then so when I started rapping, I tried to be like hella deep, and like I tried to be hella deep. So like I would make like joke songs, but then I would like try to make like really like deep songs. But over time, I realized that that's not really what I had fun listening to anymore. Like I feel like personally myself, I have more fun making music that's like West Coast party music. Either that or like just like rager music. And when it comes to those influences, I feel like AZ Chike is a big influence to me. And like a lot of, honestly, that's when it comes to like flow and like G Perico, like his flow. There was like times last year when I kind of like found some influences from that. And other than that, I recently started listening a lot to Himbizi. He's like a newer rapper coming out of like SoCal, and the reason why I like him a lot is because like his lyrics are just like super like just funny and like lighthearted, and like I feel like I have a lot of fun making like lighthearted music, and it's, I don't know, like and you can still be deep within that, but also still throw in some like punchlines, you know. Yeah. So I feel like that's where my music is right now, but at the same time I have a lot of different sounds coming I have a lot of different songs coming on the way. So
Hell yeah, bro. It's cool to hear you guys' inspiration, man. Definitely. When I was creating, writing and creating my film, I was just like, man, I have to. It's hard because, man, creating film, man, it's freaking hard, bro.
Yeah, it is.
There's on Friday we took 5 hours to shoot a 2-minute part of the film. You know what I mean?
Damn.
So it takes time.
Yeah, no, it does.
But to me, man, it's cool to see that when we'll get into it in a little bit, in a couple seconds. But when I asked you guys to help me out a little bit with the music, I was like, man, I gotta do this for the guys, and it came out the way I wanted it. The music just flows in perfectly. And what I'm talking about now is Pak Joko and Akif have done a music for the film The Boxer called Blood for Blood, and I'm super excited to show you guys how it came out, especially putting them together, right?
Yeah.
When you guys were writing that song, because I saw you guys were practicing, right? How was that? How was the process creating that song, man? I'm kind of curious.
So Pak Joko already kind of planned to use that beat for his album, for Drama the album, and then like we were talking about it, he was just like, hey, like, you want to rap on this one? And I was like, all right, for sure. And that eventually became the Blood for Blood song. I never rap like that in my life. Like,
It sounded yeah.
I still look back at that verse, and it's like I look at it as like something that like I don't know what I was on when I was doing it, but like it's just so. Yeah, I was off a perk, like I said in the song, but it was crazy because I think we were writing the lyrics like at the same time, right? Yeah, we wrote everything. We finished the majority of it. Oh, what was the Need for Speed?
we're playing Need for Speed.
Yeah. Yeah. It was chill. I had to rewrite my verse, not because it was necessarily bad or anything. I just felt like I could do a lot more with it. I just needed to bring out that like killer attitude in that song, and I think eventually when we first sent that video clip of us performing it to you, we were like, oh man, like this is fire and everything. But then the week after, we actually got to recording it on the weekend, and like after we heard it and like we like showed the rough draft just like a few of the homies and stuff, and like we were able to tell like like this is gonna hit. I think something really cool also is like, especially with like any type of music I make, I always imagine like moments, in this case, the moment that I was given to me was like, think about, when it's going to close up on the Boxer, and then it's going to go to the intro and the credits roll and stuff like that. That's the moment that I thought of. But typically when I'm making other music too, like I think of like, like when I do this part, I'm gonna have my hands up on stage and I'm gonna do this thing. Or like when I make a really cool song, I'm like walking around my bedroom for like 40 minutes just putting it on loop because I'm like, shit, I just made this, man. And like that's how I felt about that song, just because it was just a great time. And like, thank you, by the way, because we just had the opportunity to like be in like a movie, like a student film too. And like it's just great that like we're able to have our music shown in other things just than ourselves. But yeah.
So the term "blood for blood" again came from my roommate Max.
Yeah.
He said, I remember I said something about my cousin, and then he was like, "Oh, that's like blood for blood, like blood for blood, like it's like brotherly, cousinly." So I was like, "Oh, that sounds kind of fire." And I was like, okay, I'm gonna make a song and I'm gonna name it Blood for Blood, and I'm gonna write it. So I already had the idea kind of, and I was like, I'm gonna write it about like my bros. Like I'm gonna like write it about my bros and how like we be like there for each other basically. And that's originally the concept of the song. However, I formed the lyrics around like boxing. As you can tell by the hook, I was like left hook him to the mud.
Yeah.
Like put him with the
I love
gloves.
that, bro. I love that.
And then basically. And then same thing with Akif, like during his verse.
Like shadow boxing.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
yes.
So yeah.
It's
So
beautiful,
like
bro.
so basically I had like boxing in mind, but I also had like like the brotherly concept in my mind when I wrote that song. But it turned out a good song, bro.
I showed the titles and credits with the music, right, and with the film itself to like 7 different people, maybe 10, and they're like, "Dude, the music. Who is this? Who is this?" Like, keep watching, you'll see their name. Keep watching. It's dope, guys. I again, dude, like, you guys don't know how much I appreciate the fact that you guys helped me out with the film. It's beautiful because it wouldn't be the film without the music. If I'm being real. He's walking in. I'm kind of like spoiling it a little bit, but he's walking in. He's in his head, but the music's playing.
Yeah.
You know, and it works, man. And again, I thank you guys. You guys created a great song, man. And people in the cart department, people in the cart program. Man, I've been listening to this all week. They're telling me I've been listening to this all week, and I'm like, yeah, that's them, dude. I'm proud of them, man. Last question I have for you guys before we end the podcast. So I created this podcast, man, 3 years ago, man, right? And the reason why I created this podcast is because the title, I'm 100% here. I don't ever want to wake up 50%, 70%, 80%. You got to wake up 100% ready for the day, you know, whatever tackles you. Before I started the podcast, I actually had a buddy of mine who was going to be part of the co-host, I guess you could say. We had a name, we had everything ready, we had the equipment, right? Mm-hmm. But the day before we started, recording, he attempted suicide, and it was tough.
Sorry,
but I wanted to, thank you. I wanted to start the podcast already because I from this, I'm like, he couldn't do it, he wasn't able to do it. But I was like, I want to start the podcast around it, I want to bring in people who hustle, who are just determined to live life, man. And it's beautiful to see you guys do your thing. And my last question is, man, what moment in your life, whether it's bad or good, made you the person you are today?
Man, my first performance back in like sophomore year of high school, I basically it was back home in Los Angeles, and I was opening up for like a few other artists, so I was like the underdog in a way. I performed. It was all right. It was probably subpar looking back at it, but being on that small stage kind of like ignited a flame in me, where like I still kind of tell it to myself like almost every day is like I don't see myself doing anything else, like being as content, being as electrified in the moment, doing stuff like that. There has been pivotal moments where like also like the people who I love, who are near and dear to me, don't support me. And I had to get myself out of the mud, and I had to tell myself, like, I'm doing this for me, man, I feel like especially in, like, Asian culture, like, we're taught to care for the family more than ourselves, because if we care for ourselves, that's kind of, like, selfish in a way. At least that's the way I grew up with my parents' morals. But I just told myself, like, self-fulfillment can also bring value for others, especially the people that I care about. So I always try to remember that. I think the most recent moment, honestly, that like I felt that reignition of that flame again was this whole back-to-back weekend with performing, because it was just like, it showed like honestly, like I'm gonna talk my shit, like who the fuck else do you know doing shit like that, like on that type of level, at this like local level, but it just lets me know that I'm doing something right. And for the past like few months, I normally am a very self-doubtful person. I doubt myself every day, but I still try to keep going with this music stuff, man. For the past like few months, I have not been doubting myself. I've just been telling myself, like asking myself, like, what's next? Like, what's next after this? All right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm working on an album right now that I think is going to be absolutely incredible. It's going to be better than anything I've put out in the past.
Dude, I'm excited.
So I'm really excited. But yeah.
That's awesome, bro.
I definitely think what made me the person I am today is when I left Portland, Oregon, and moved to Cali. So I was born in LA, but I grew up in Portland. So I grew up in Portland for 10 years, and I moved back during high school when I was 14. And like I moved, like I didn't really have so the options were I stay in Portland and with like a friend, but I really have all my family here in Cali. but it was like a hard decision for me at the time, obviously, because like my whole life was basically in Portland, you know. So when I moved to Cali, at first it was hard, but then eventually, like me being down here and making new friends and finding like a sense of community, it changed who I was. Like I think the biggest part was me finding my sense of community in Cali, because there's like a lot of Indonesian Americans, so I became friends with them, and it's just like, although like moving was hard, I felt like I don't regret moving. Like it opened up like everything, and it's like if I stayed in Portland, I wouldn't be who I am now. Definitely.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's crazy. If I think about it, yeah, I would just be I'd probably just be a skater kid still, like a full-time skater kid. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Shout out to the skater homies. But I mean, like, cause when I moved to Cali, like I stopped skating, and I was like, cause I for like solid 3 years, like I stopped skating, and then like I guess I was just doing like music for fun. But then when I moved to college, that's also something that was big for, I mean, it was scary because I thought, again, I was leaving my music, because like I said, I was gonna stop doing music after I did that album, but then it broke another boundary for me to keep going.
You gotta keep breaking boundaries, man. Both of you guys. It's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
I love you guys, man. I love you guys' music, dude. You guys are. I question you guys. Who were you guys' inspiration? To me, you guys, in a sense, I don't do music, but you guys are inspiration to many people, including myself, man. You guys have the hustle. You guys have the drive. A lot of people need that nowadays, man. And that's the main reason why I do the podcast, man. People need to see this, right? Mm-hmm. People need to know that we're not perfect, man. We didn't come rising up the way we are today. Even I'm recording with my phone, bro. You know what I'm saying? But that's how we start. Yeah. That's how we start, And I'm excited for the future for the both of you guys. Keep me updated, man. I keep posting, man. I want to see what you guys are doing.
You're going to be graduating in a few days, man. Congratulations, bro.
I'm nervous. Okay. I'll keep you guys updated, man. And again, guys, in the future, I know you guys are going to be busy. I'm sure of it. If you guys ever want to work together, I would love to, guys. That's what I love to do. I love to network with people. Keep them updated. Keep me updated, man.
Of course.
You guys are amazing. Pak Joko and Akif, thank you guys for coming on the podcast. Do you guys have any last words for the people? Any last words?
If you want to listen to my music, just look up AKIF on anywhere you listen to music. I'm gonna be releasing an album like pretty soon in the summer. Yeah. It's called Because of Me. It's gonna be dope. And just love and support one another.
Hell yeah.
Follow me on Instagram, PAKJ0K0. I'm gonna drop a new single soon, and I think over the course of summer I'm gonna drop singles every month, probably until September.
Nice.
And then I'm gonna probably drop another tape in October.
Yeah,
probably an 8-songer.
I'm excited.
And advice to people that wanna become a musician: everybody starts from somewhere, and sometimes the somewhere you start is a very humble beginning.
There you go.
And you gotta just keep working.
Amen.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, guys. You guys are amazing. Again, the box are coming out this Friday, May 19th, to the public, June 3rd. Music composers Pak Joko and Akif. You guys are the best.
Thank you.
Again, I have to say this. Subscribe, guys. Make sure you guys subscribe.
Smash that like button, man.
I appreciate you guys. We'll keep each other updated, guys.
Yeah.
Peace out. Have a great day, guys. I love you guys. This is the last episode here in college, man.
Oh, that's an honor, man.
Yeah, you guys are my last episode.
Damn.
I appreciate you guys. CCMB, you guys have been amazing for watching. Thank you guys for all the people who've been watching. Love y'all, and we are out. Bye-bye.